between accents, stick to one because people are going to think you can't do it.
Don't be too smart for your audience.
I didn't like
Thank
him,
you.
which wasn't his fault, but that we just don't see much of him or know much about him.
That's true.
And for a character that holds as big a part as he does in this film, we need to have some feelings about him one way or the other.
For the little bit he's on, he has all the charisma of an alien.
Yeah.
So we never he's like an alien. So we never really like get in his head and see his side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't emotionally connect with what he's doing.
And see, that's the thing with this movie. It's just so dense of a book. Alan Moore is just he made this book not to be a movie. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna sabotage this book.
What he
You're
did
never
is
gonna be
he
able to make a
told a great
movie.
story.
Exactly.
But
he did that at a time when nobody was making movies of these things, so it wasn't part of his agenda.
So this book, it cuts out, like I said, not only does it cut out certain scenes, I mean, there are key scenes that are touching in that book that they don't have here. They cut out characters like Captain Metropolis isn't in here, and they changed dialogue in certain scenes. Now, all that being said, I know it's a movie. It doesn't bother me that they have to make a movie. I'm just saying that for this, because when I watched it, I said, I'm going to take myself out of this, and I'm going to watch it as a movie. If I'd seen this without having read the book, I'd be like, you know what? I was bored in some parts. I thought the dialogue was kind of bad. Some of these actors are not that good, because I thought Patrick Wilson wasn't even that good in the beginning. But I would say, you know what? As it went along, I was entertained. It was okay. It's not great. I thought it was good.
Okay, I mean, I'm not going to take a big dump on it, but at the same time, there were too many times that it felt like a parody to me. Like those guys who do Meet the Spartans, when they get ready to parody this movie, they can just take direct scenes from it and not even change anything. But that said, for that near 3 hours, I was never bored. But I will say, man, if you go see this, order the nachos because there's plenty of cheese.
But not the large soda.
Like that joke. Anybody? What?
I give it a rental.
Oh, you give it a rental?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess
because to me, because of the length, I'm like, you're better off renting this movie than actually sitting there through it the whole time.
I give it a matinee.
We've mainly criticized this movie compared to the graphic novel. And as much as we have. Most of our bitching has been like, well, I mean, there's some technical things we bitched about. But on the whole, it's been like, well, it's so much better in the book. And you're absolutely right. It was. But as I've been saying for months now, there was no fucking way they were going to capture what makes this book so great. And there never was a chance they were going to.
I bet David Fincher could have done it.
Maybe if he had
after he did Benjamin Button, I was like, he could have done it.
Maybe if he had 5 hours to tell the story, sure.
And to be fair, we did say we didn't just criticize it comparing it against the novel. We did say some of the acting was bad, the dialogue was bad.
Well, I don't agree with you on the whole about the dialogue. I think it was delivered bad a lot of the time.
I can see that,
but most of the dialogue is actually more or less lifted from the book. And I think the strongest points of this are the things where you see the reflections of what makes the book so great. Strong enough, in fact, that I really enjoyed this, regardless of the heavy flaws it had. There are some visual moments that are really gorgeous where Snyder shows that what he is best at is visual composition at points. I mean, there's some imagery that's just gorgeous and really gets across the ways in which he's capable of succeeding in a film. He just shouldn't be doing anything this complicated. By the end of it, I was like, okay, it makes me want to go read the book again. It makes me really want to go read the book again, but I'm afraid that's just going to make me dislike the movie more. The best thing about this is that it is a high-minded superhero movie, and I think it's going to bring more people around.
Your review is as long as this goddamn movie.
Hey, now, y'all talk more than I have through this whole thing. Okay?
What's your rating for
this? Let me finish my thought. Come on, man. Our audio version of our review is already going to be 15 minutes long,
we have our biggest fights when people get interrupted.
Every time you get interrupted, you have a hissy fit.
I think it's very important that we go out and hire Zack Snyder to change the ending of his review.
Well, actually, I'm sure.
You know what? To be fair, I don't want to be. Go ahead and finish.
Yeah.
Go ahead and finish.
I'm interrupting your ass like crazy next time. That's all I'm saying. No, I'm saying I think that the hope is that this is going to bring people around to the idea of superhero movies not being just for kids. Yeah, they slam it in your face every chance they get with sex and people's heads getting cut in half and all sorts of shit. But still, it's going to do the right thing in the end. And I give this a high matinee myself.
Okay.
I'm pretty much with Cyrus on this. There's so much here to like that the things that you don't like most of the time can be pushed aside. I really was at a full price for this for a long time. In fact, I was bordering on Better Than Sex until the end of the film that really knocked me down. And I walked out in a stupor just going, what the fuck was that? So, I mean, I really got to give this a matinee. I want to love it. I want it to be great. But really, I really dislike how he altered things at the end.
Well, that's funny because one of the things that brought me around was the ending. I thought that ending captured everything that, as great as that novel is, didn't do. I mean, because I can't say what they did at the end of the movie, but what they
anyway,
did.
what Corey's really trying to say is...
No, man. Like,
no,
you interrupt me all the time. I take it like a man. Take it like a man, sir.
You wouldn't if I was hung like Dr. Manhattan.
No, but at the end of that movie, man, it's like, for what happens at the end, like in the book, people are like, okay, I can see that. But in this movie, they're like, what the fuck did you do? It's like, are you out your goddamn mind? No, I'm not going to accept that. And I thought like it captured the emotional response that I thought was kind of lacking in the book. I like the ending.
I think it's in the book just the same. To me, that ending, I mean, other than what they do, the way they change that, but that part with Rorschach at the end was damn accurate. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, you nailed that.
Not really.
No, actually, there's a no.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot the Darth Vader moment with the no. Yeah, I love how like he went no. Oh well.
Yeah. Now I've got to ask you guys. This pertains to Night Owl. Did anyone else notice that every time Night Owl is either in the suit or standing naked? Because most of the people in this movie appear naked at some point. Do you guys notice that he seemed to be clenching in this weird kind of...
Well, like he was tightening up his sphincter or something?
Yeah.
That shit was probably riding up.
Yeah, that shit was so tight.
No, he did it when he was naked too, standing there in front of the mirror. He like had this clenched look. Like,
well, look at that guy, and he ain't exactly in the best physical shape of his life. And
but he has been. He must have like let himself go just a little bit for the role.
Right. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think he was probably a little insecure about those butt shots.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, Dr. Manhattan. Fuck, it's just CG. He's gonna look great either way. Billy Crudup's like at McDonald's going, "What the fuck do I care?"
Yeah, I ain't got to do exercise for this shit. Now here's what got me. Now this is one of the things I thought was terrible about the movie. Whenever they fought people and had to do kung fu, Night Owl and Silk Spectre,
yeah,
people turn Asian all of a sudden.
Whenever it happens, like once in the movie.
No, it happens twice. They fight some dudes in the alley. All of a sudden, they're Asian
that's
because
right.
it's only like.
That's right. And then they go to the prison.
And then when they go down, it's like Street Fighter. They go down a line of Asians. This is like you get some black people who walk by to make it look like a prison. Like, okay, there's some black people in here, but everybody they fight is Asian.
I noticed that too.
I always laugh whenever like in a movie when somebody's fighting a gang and they look like a cross between the Warriors and something Joel Schumacher designed because they're a road warrior out with leather and mohawks and makeup, and I'm like, the hell kind of gang is this?
Just wait till they do the Dark Knight Returns movie.
Well, the people they fought in this movie, like, I swear to God, when they were walking, it was a white guy looking at them pass by, and then when they cut, it was an Asian dude with a ponytail.
No, I noticed that too. In fact, I saw once that looked for sure it was the same Asian guy. Like in the prison, the first Asian guy they beat up and the last guy they beat up.
It was the same guy.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people are going to go see this. I'm telling you, on the scenes where Silk Spectre's doing stunts, that is not even a stunt woman, but a stunt man in that suit.
Well, yeah, because when she's wearing that suit, she got titties, but when she gets naked, she had none.
And her muscles are huge. Yeah. I'm telling you, and like dropping down through the fire, I'm like, that's a man.
It's like when they cut to a shot, like Patrick Wilson's making love to a dude with a mustache with a wig on.
Okay,
Zach, do I really have to do this?
Was anybody else mildly disturbed by the overt thrusting from that particular scene? Like, I remember in the book, it's like, hey, here's a kind of a tasteful.
It's like
scene.
2 panels in the book,
and then and in the movie, it's like, you know,
are you talking about the sex scene in the owl ship?
The same is true of the blood and gore in here. It's so exaggerated.
It's so over the top. I was like, dude, pull back a little bit.
He wants to remind you over and over again, it's for grown-ups, it's for grown-ups, this is for adults, you have to respect this as an adult film.
No, you're right about that. They actually made scenes more violent in this movie. They actually killed people that they didn't need to kill, that they didn't kill in the book.
No, this is not for little kids, and I know there's going to be some people who are going to freak out about that because, superheroes, and that's exactly what Snyder wants. Like, no, dude, superheroes aren't just for little kids. But damn, dude, come on, this is ridiculous.
See, that was my thing. When I talk about no subtlety, like the way the violence was always over the top, always a broken bone, lots of blood everywhere. It's like, wow, you did all that, and it didn't really help this movie one bit. It didn't add anything. Yeah.
You know,
it's like pull back.
And you were right, man. That scene with Patrick Wilson is like when they were having sex. It's like Patrick Wilson's ass was like one end of the room, and it came back when he was thrusting, and went back to the other end of the room and came back.
I mean, that chick can't act, but she is pretty hot. I'd have done that too.
Oh yeah, shit. I mean, you ain't got to act to go like.
But you got to ask yourself, did he really need to have so many long shots with Dr. Manhattan? Couldn't he have shot from waist up?
I think we just learned something about Zack
once you see it like 2 or 3 times, it's like, why did you shoot it from his knees up?
I love how, and when they first showed Dr. Manhattan, they really did cut away to avoid showing it.
Yeah.
But then from that point on,
And-
it was like, finding Sarah Marshall again.
They established that he had this big V cup thing in the big scene where he's walking through Vietnam because they wanted that in the trailer, but. He couldn't find that whenever he went in public any other time.
To be fair, there's no way that actor was that hung.
Yeah,
we saw him in before he turned into Dr. Manhattan. He was white. There's just no way.
Well, it's like, come on, man. If you a chick and you give some oral sex to this dude, your hair and teeth are falling out the next day.
all I gotta say is, if you're gonna molecularly reform yourself,
Why would you go for the gusto?
endow yourself, right? I mean, this movie is essentially follow the bouncing ball. And you know what?
The world will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."